Hello kids, coming to you live from the kitchen again. I am going to read day 2 of Thea, Stilton, and the Secret City. I hope you enjoyed yesterday's reading, and let's get to it. Here's how it all began. The sun was high in the sky and blazing brightly. It was hotter than a freshly grilled cheese sandwich. On Whale Island, it was hard to find more than a square inch of shade. The Thea sisters had been hanging out in Hawk Woods for hours. Violet, Paulina, and Colette were perched on a rock, armed with a video camera and binoculars, while Nikki and Pamela were sitting on the branch of an old oak tree. Nikki had her camera ready, and Pamela was holding a powerful microphone capable of capturing even the faintest chirp. The object of their attention was a small hole on the face of the Mount landslide. A couple of hawks had built a nest there. The 5 mouselings wanted to capture the moment when the eggs hatched. If they could get the scoop for the school blog, it'd be bigger than a sighting of the Loch Mouse monster. They'd be sure to get the best grade in their writing class. It isn't easy to get close to a hawk's nest. Violet signaled her friends with one paw. Something was moving in the nest. The time had come at last. Right at that moment, ring! Paulina's cell phone began ringing. Paulina was so surprised she nearly slipped off the edge of the cliff. A shrill screech came from the hole in the rock. Scree! The mother hawk had noticed them, and she was angrier than a cat with a bad case of fleas. There went the Thea sisters' scoop. There was only one thing to do: scamper off as fast as their paws could take them. However, Violet soon realized that someone was missing. Paulina was still talking on her phone. Violet scurried back and dragged her away. "Does this seem like the right moment to be chattering?" she asked. "If that falcon catches us, we're catnip." But she soon regretted the way she'd squeaked when she saw that her friend's big black eyes were filled with tears. More than friends. As soon as the mouselings got back to Mouseford Academy, Paulina headed straight for the headmaster's office. She was with Professor Octavius Demousis for a full half hour. Colette, Nikki, Pamela, and Violet waited for her outside the office door. They were worried about Paulina. As the minutes ticked by, they seemed to stretch longer and longer. Pamela, in particular, was growing impatient. "What could be taking so long?" she cried. "I could have changed a flat tire while blindfolded in the time she's been in there." Nikki put a paw on her friend's shoulder. "I'm sure she'll be out in a minute, Pam." Pam nodded. "I just hope everything's okay." At that moment, Pamela emerged from the office. Her friends immediately gathered around her. "Paulina, if you have a problem, if you need help," Colette began. "We need to know what's wrong," exclaimed Pamela. "You're turning us into a bunch of worry rats here." "We're more than friends, we're sisters," Nikki burst out. "Tell us what's going on." "Of course she will," said Violet. "There aren't any secrets among the Thea sisters, and there never will be." Paulina was moved by her friend's concern. "You're right," she said as she led them back to the dormitory. "I will tell you everything while I pack my bags." "You're leaving?" her friends shouted in unison as they scurried after her. "Yes, I need to get back to Peru as soon as possible," exclaimed Paulina. She opened the door to her room. "That phone call was from my sister Maria. One of our dear friends is in more trouble than a mouse at the annual cat convention." "No need for explanations," Nikki said, cutting her off. "You'll tell us during the trip. You didn't think we'd let you go by yourself, did you?" "You mean you'll come to Peru with me?" exclaimed Paulina. "You're the best friends a mouse could ask for. Thank you." Before she'd finished squeaking, her friends had started packing their bags. South America. The name America comes from the name of the Italian navigator Amerigo Vespucci, one of the first Europeans to explore the coast of South America. The numbers. The Andes make up the longest chain of high mountains in the world. They extend far more than 5,000 miles and over 7 countries: Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, Chile, and Argentina. Many peaks are more than 20,000 feet high. Only the Himalayas are higher. Lake Titicaca, the highest navigable lake in the world, is 12,500 feet above sea level. It is located on the border between Bolivia and Peru and was a sacred place for the Incas. Excuse me. A special rodent. After taking a boat to Mouse Island, the mouselings boarded a plane to Peru. Once Colette, Nikki, Pamela, Paulina, and Violet had settled in for the flight, Paulina started to tell her story. Like I told you, I got a call from my sister Maria, Paulina began. It's Professor Sagefur. His son got lost, so he left by himself, but he's in danger. Whoa, 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 hold on a second, said Pamela. Start from the beginning. I haven't understood a single squeak. First tell us who this professor is, suggested Violet. Paulina pulled out a photo of her sister, Maria, when she was just a tiny mouseling. She was sitting on the lap of an older rodent, wearing a Santa Mouse costume. The mouse in the picture is Professor Sagefur. Who? Santa Mouse? Asked Colette. Yes, the one dressed as Santa Mouse. This was a very sad Christmas for Maria and me. It was the first after our parents disappeared. Our aunt and uncle were taking care of us, and they tried everything they could to cheer us up. But no one could get little Maria to crack a smile. Then Professor Sagefur came along. He was an old friend of my mom and dad's. He dressed up in a Santa Mouse costume, and he even got a carriage covered with little bells and drove us all over the city. As soon as she saw him in that costume, Maria started to smile. What an incredible rodent, commented Pamela. Yes, he's really special. Maria is very close to him. When she called me, I just knew I had to get home and help her find him. So what happened to the professor? Asked Nikki. The professor and his son Gonzalo are famous archaeologists, explained Paulina. While Gonzalo was away on an expedition, he disappeared. For days and days, the professor waited, but he didn't hear any news from his son. So finally, he left to go and look for him in the Andes, even though it's the rainy season. And now it's been days since Maria's heard from him. She's sick with worry. Don't worry, Paulina, Violet said reassuringly. We're here to help you. We'll find Professor Sagefur faster than you can say goat cheese. Gorgonzola with pepper jack on top, and we'll help him find Gonzalo too. All right, friends, tune in tomorrow to see what happens next as they head off to Peru. Stay healthy and stay safe. I miss you all.